It's Fairfield County Talk Radio. We are streaming at fairfieldcountytalkradio.com, and we are at the Riverbrook Regional YMCA Rock at the Y, presented by Fairfield County Bank. And I'm Matt Zako. Thanks to our SharkCast sponsors who help us spotlight the community. Tough Lawn Service, Fairfield County Tick Control, Rock Landscaping Services in Danbury, Apollo X, Fairfield County's premier pest control service, Limney Mediterranean Kitchen, MDM Sanitation Inc., and also Professional Water Systems and Ecosystems Irrigation and Lighting. And my next guest on the podcast here in Wilton is Geoff Schneider. He is the lead singer and the lead guitarist of Terrapin, which Terrapin is a tribute band to the Grateful Dead. You guys were doing your sound check. We were talking to Bob McDowell, the CEO, who's thrilled to have you guys.
That's right.
So far, you know, you've passed half the test because you've raised a lot of money. Now all you got to do is play and show everybody a good time.
Hopefully everything doesn't break down.
And it was
Which,
funny.
by the way, would be pretty consistent with the Dead as well. So,
yeah. So, you know, at the end of the other segment with Bob, we were trying to think of Grateful Dead songs. And, you know, in high school, I was sort of like anti-Dead with all my Deadhead friends.
Sure.
And then finally, after college, and I was working at a local radio station, they asked me if I would host the bus, the radio station hippie bus down to Giant Stadium to see Jerry. And I did, and I was so glad I did because I finally understood the culture of the Dead shows with just so much merchandise in the parking lot. And then I realized that it wasn't, you know, not everybody smelled like patchouli, whatever it is, patchouli oil, and not everybody didn't take showers, you know what I mean? So
what year was that?
Oh, I think it was right before Jerry died, a couple of years before, like early 90s.
Early 90s. Yeah, okay.
And you know, the Grateful Dead started to grow on me to the point where I actually started to really like them. And then I started to hear songs, you know, over and over on the radio. And some of them, like, I couldn't stand, like Truckin', I felt got played out. But, you know, then I sort of liked Good Lovin's a great track. And when I was in college, I worked at a rock station that was 50,000 watts. And I remember late night at 2 in the morning, the program director let me have a feature called Matt's Six Pack. And I did a six pack from the Grateful Dead, and I did Going Down the Road Feeling Bad. And that was it. I love the Dead after that. What a great song that one is. But let's talk about the songs before anything. Sure. What are some of the songs we're going to hear tonight here at the Y in Wilton?
Well, that's so I'll give you a framework, but the reality is we follow a little bit of what the Dead did, which is we have a framework, but we don't have a specific set list, right? Uh-huh. So I know we're opening the show with Uncle John's band, which will be a good exploratory jam that could lead us through a bunch of different areas. There's a lot of the fan favorites that people sort of requested on the behalf of this YMCA charity event to begin with. Yeah.
So you've been programmed
a little bit,
Hey, money talks, man.
Hey, they hired us. They want to hear certain songs. We'll see if we can work them in. So
now you know how I feel as a mobile DJ at times.
There you go.
When they give you the list, it's like, oh,
this
great.
is what you do.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Now I have to work.
Right.
I
exactly.
can't play what I want.
No. So yeah, we got some fan favorites. We're going to do. Things like Not Fade Away and Throwing Stones and China Cat Sunflower and I Know You Rider. So there'll be some stuff. I know Eyes of the World is on the docket tonight. So those are all songs that ultimately can be pretty exploratory. So they can lead to surprises. And we'll see if the show is going in a good direction. We'll take it into some maybe surprising stuff. But who knows? We're also going to do some originals. You mentioned earlier that we're a tribute band. We are. But we've actually been making a bit of a right turn here over the last, call it 6 months. And we've written a whole bunch of material. We're actually going into the studio starting in, if everything goes well, February or March. Maybe April if at latest, but we've got 12 to 18 tracks we're going to be laying down and see if there's a 10 or 11 of them that we can actually use. So we've been creative and it's in the spirit of what's going on here in Fairfield County, to be honest with you, which is this enormous jam band movement right now with Eggy and Goose and some others. So
How did Terrapin first come together, and what year? And are you an original member?
I am the original member.
Now,
yes.
Are you one of the founders?
Yes, Paul Dene and I founded the band. He's my other guitar player and really old friend of mine. We've known each other since the late 90s, actually. And then we reconnected around 2012, 2013. It was actually Super Bowl Sunday in 2013. We had been Facebooking back and forth. And
So less than a decade.
Less than a decade.
But close to a decade.
Yeah, almost 8.5 years.
I won't make you do the math, well, even though you already did. But so what was the inspiration behind that?
Both of us were at the age where our kids were sort of, not, they were able to, be on their own, and we had time. Ultimately, the time was the big deal, right?
We're just trying to turn it up for the crowd here so they could see you,
see
you being interviewed. A little lower there, Joe. That's a little loud. But live to Memorex Radio here.
There you go.
And that's great. Thanks, Joe. Joe is our engineer extraordinaire, and we're just happy to have you on the air before you get busy. What time, Geoff, are you going on here?
I think 7:15, 7:30.
And how long do you play for?
We play 2 full sets. So first set's about an hour and 5. The second set could be 90 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's quite giving everybody,
Oh, we'll give them our all.
their money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Now, how can folks who, want to follow you and your music? Do you have a website? Do you have, are you on Facebook and
Yes,
Instagram? I mean,
yes.
stupid question. If
Yeah.
you said no, I'd be like, okay, buddy.
No. Terrapin Band is basically the moniker, right? So Terrapin Band on Facebook, Terrapin Band on .com, on the internet. We have Instagram. We actually have a Twitter. I'm not sure how much it's used these days, but we have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have the website. We have bands in town. We have all the other, sort of third-party aggregators that we're affiliated with as well.
Now, I've interviewed a lot of bands, especially in the last year or so, and a lot of tribute bands as well. A lot of tribute bands, or bands in general, even the famous bands, they have guys that come and go. And it happens because guys get busy with their jobs or whatever. Since you've started, have you had, any replacements?
Yes, we've had some replacements. We've had original keyboard player left the band about a little over 2 years ago. And we hired another keyboard player, and he's been fantastic. And then similarly with our backup vocalist, so Milo, who's with us now, who's unbelievable, Milo Bear. She replaced a woman by the name of Ams Palmieri, who was also with us for about 2.5, 3 years. And she got married and decided, the whole road thing wasn't for her.
Or it wasn't for her husband, really.
We won't go there. But yes, that's true.
Well, that's just the way it goes.
Right.
So, that's life. And I mean, I was interviewing the like I told Bob, I was interviewing the Appice brothers, and they're, iconic drummers, Dio, Black Sabbath, Vanilla Fudge. And it was interesting because I had to get there to interview them backstage, and it's like, they got there early. I mean, it's a commitment. Even any band, whatever level you're at, you have to, like now, you're here early. Yeah. I mean, it's a commitment. It's not like, a lot of people just forget that, the band might only play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but the band has to get there early. They have to do the sound checks. I mean, it's a whole commitment. And then if you're, a famous band where you're traveling all over, not that you're not famous, but you're famous locally.
Famous in my own mind.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like guys that played at the Fillmore East, they're going on to Buffalo that same night, and then they got to get on a plane and all that. So, you kind of take it for granted what it takes for musicians to perform.
100%. Look, we've had a lot of local to regional success. We've played from pretty much Maine to Virginia. We'll continue to, obviously COVID's been a little bit of a challenge.
So you're regionally famous.
Well, I don't know about famous, but yeah, we've played all over the place. And
regionally a celebrity.
Maybe.
Sometimes artists, musicians don't like to be called celebrities. You're an artist.
Look, this is what we like to do. Like,
right.
It's not what we do for a living, but it's it's what we love to do.
Right.
And so, but going on the road is difficult.
A little extra money, of course.
A little extra money, but more importantly, it's the fun and ultimately, but to your point, it's significant work. I mean, you go on the road, we go to Maryland. We're not going to just go to Maryland for one night.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to go and figure out a couple of stops on the way. We'll do 2 or 3 nights, hotels, the whole bit. And you know, you're right. I mean, when we're a big stage band, we're not playing bars anymore, right? So when you come in, you got to set up.
You used to.
We used to. It was great, but you could show up at 9:30,
right?
Set up and be done, right?
Yeah,
now you have to be here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, I was here at 12:30 this morning because I live in Wilton, actually. So I came here, checked out the stage, went back, got my stuff. We've been here for 4 hours already.
Well, Geoff, enough about you. Let's hear about your band members. Let's hear about the other guys in the band. Sure. You know I'm kidding you.
Sure, no, of course.
You know I'm busting your chops. But seriously, you know, a band is, you know...
it's a team.
It's a team, and what I'm learning by interviewing musicians is, you know, bands break up because of egos and so forth, or whatever. Somebody has a baby or whatever. But, you know, when a band can stay together for a while, it's not always the case because bands don't stay together. More bands break up than stay together. So it sounds like you got a solid band together. And who are the members?
We got a great core. I mean, as I said, Paul Dene and myself started it. JP Gagan was a drummer in another Grateful Dead tribute band locally that ultimately he left that band, joined ours. Rick LaBelle is our bass player, literally joined us gig 3. This is, we're at 215 or so gigs now, so that was 213 ago. So Rick LaBelle has been with us forever, and Chuck Chesler is the new keyboard player. He's been playing with us now almost 2 years. He's got a bunch of acts that he plays in locally as well. As I mentioned, Milo Bear. We've got Aaron Hagley, who's our percussion player, who joined us about 2.5 years ago. We added a second percussion drummer situation, and that's been awesome. He's been in a veteran of multiple bands as well. So the band is a good core. Now that we're transitioning more into an original plus tribute act, it takes a lot of dedication. And so if the core isn't good, it's not going to work. And so I think we all get along. We all have other jobs, as I said. Yeah. But when we come together and do this, we're all in.
Well, I just want to focus on the why. I love, as I was telling Bob McDowell, the CEO, I love the name Rock at the Y. And then when I was asked to host this, I saw that Terrapin was going to be here, and I said, wow, because I know you guys have a following, and it wasn't just some no-name band that they got. You know, you've definitely earned your stripes in the community.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, really. And so, you know, I really think already it looks very successful. Of course, you know, I don't want to jinx you on the equipment or anything because there's always technical things that can happen. But for the most part, it looks like it's going to be a smooth night. The weather is decent. Everybody's set up. You guys sound checked. We got our stuff all together here, and we're excited to be here. You know, having you on Fairfield County Talk Radio. Just as we wrap up the interview, going forward in the pandemic, what do you see? You know, I was talking to Bob before about, you know, I thought it was smart that he had you guys play outside. And I think we're still at the point where people really would rather be outside. What is your feeling on that with playing inside versus outside with the pandemic that's still lingering?
From our perspective, you know, we want to do what makes people comfortable, obviously. So we've done both. We actually played more than I know other bands. We played a bunch during the pandemic. Now, we had to do it in areas like New Jersey and otherwise where they had different rules than Connecticut. Connecticut was pretty much shut down. But then we were also one of the first to open up. So we played a gig in January of this past year here in Bridgeport that was live streamed. There was no audience. And then by April, we were indoors with people. My feeling is, look, it's probably another 6 months, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like it or love it. But we have a big gig coming up Halloween weekend in Fairfield at the Klein, which is not a small place, right? They're doing half admission. So rather than 1,400 seats, I think they're limiting it to 700.
Well,
so
that's cool.
Yeah,
so people feel comfortable.
People feel comfortable. Obviously, hopefully by then maybe this Delta thing will wane a bit and everybody get your shots, you know, and feel comfortable. But, you know, Connecticut's been ahead of the country. I mean, we have become a real music center, and that's been, you know, increasingly comfortable for everybody.
While we're on the subject of venues real quick, the Capitol Theater, I mean, that's you know, Garcia's right next door. Of course, you say you're not playing like bars, but would you consider Garcia's?
Of course.
Because that's a legendary
We've played
bar.
there, many, many times.
Yeah.
We
Now,
love
would you
those guys.
do you have any dates there?
They asked us to do a date, which was supposed to be actually, I think, this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, I was in Colorado for the week.
But do you think you would go back to the Capitol and Garcia
of course.
specifically if you were doing it in a
Yeah,
small venue?
we did a now again there was nobody there, but we did a charity event there for Y Hunger, which is one of our sponsors. It's a national organization called Y Hunger, and that was unbelievable. We raised a whole bunch of money for them. Then following that, as Garcia's is now reopening, I am sure we'll be back at some point.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be a perfect fit for you, and I think your band would actually help them out.
100%.
Because they need the help too. I mean, they
100%.
can't survive if they don't have decent acts playing there, and you being mostly dead, mostly dead stuff with Terrapin. People are gonna go.
They are, and we, as I said, we've played there many, many times.
Yeah.
They're great people, and we'll find a date at some point. So,
well, listen, Geoff, I'm gonna let you get back to your thing, and we are gonna wrap this up and take a break. But it was great to meet you.
Thank you,
and I hope you have a great show.
Thanks.
And I'm sure everyone is gonna be really excited to see you guys. So again, Geoff Schneider from Terrapin, the lead singer, the lead guitarist. Thanks for coming on the air here at Fairfield County Talk Radio.
Thanks, Ken.